With more for Your Ears Only, I'm David Alpern.
I'm Melissa Axelberth with a quote from the news. Then let them prosecute me. I'll get a good lawyer. That was Meir Dagan, former chief of Israel's Mossad intelligence service, after reports he was the source of a widely reported leak that the Netanyahu government is again gearing up for a strike on Iran's nuclear complexes. Now this.
We said we're very open to painful concessions and compromises.
We cannot tax our way out of this crisis.
Mandatory spending, discretionary spending, and revenue have to be on the table.
Struggle in and around the Congressional Supercommittee created to cut the deficit continued last week, as we heard from Eleanor Clift. Co-chairpersons Patty Murray and Jed Hensarling represented their respective Democratic and Republican positions. Idaho's Republican Congressman Michael Simpson represented a bipartisan contingent on Capitol Hill, arguing that new revenue is essential to any solution. The other voice you heard, in the Zambian tongue of Tonga from a new documentary called The Carrier, represents a potential victim of those cuts. Ironically, a pet program begun by President George W. Bush to promote AIDS relief in Africa.
The president's emergency program for AIDS relief constitutes but a tiny fraction of U.S. foreign aid, which itself amounts to less than 1% of the federal budget. But studies show it has helped save millions of lives and buttress social stability, contributing to a 10.5% reduction in the AIDS death rate in countries where it operates. One of the most striking aspects of The Carrier is the extent of medical counseling and care that help an AIDS-infected pregnant woman and her newborn survive. We all know the virus is here in this area. The man in the suit tells a stricken Zambian village, "Let's stop our carelessness before it kills us all."
For more on the film, the problem and the value of outside aid to fight AIDS, especially transmission from mother to child, for Your Ears Only, we have the young Princeton graduate who made The Carrier, Maggie Betts. Welcome to our program.
Hi, how are you?
Good. What made you choose this topic for your first efforts as a filmmaker?
Well, I had been traveling a great deal over the past few years to Africa with organizations like UNICEF and the World Food Program, and had become increasingly interested in prevention of mother-to-child transmission, which is also called PMTCT, and that's what the film focuses on. It's about everything that a woman who is HIV positive and pregnant goes through in order to prevent her baby from being born with HIV. But what is really most significant and kind of exciting about it is the fact that it also holds the key to seeing a new HIV-free generation in Africa, which is something that we're very poised and have this extraordinary opportunity to do now. And that's why I felt like it was just really important to raise awareness and make people know how close we are and what a amazing thing that is for a family or for an HIV-positive mother and for the continent.
Who is this woman who's the vehicle, the principal character in your story? How did you select her?
Well, her name is Matinta Mwemba, and she is a rural subsistence farmer in an area called Manzi, which is in the southern province of Zambia. And she's actually in a polygamous marriage. She is one of 3 wives in a polygamous marriage, and she has been stricken with HIV for about 4 or 5 years now. She and her husband have 3 kids, and the collective wives and the husband together have about 9 kids. And as unusual as it sounds, they actually have a really beautiful and quite loving family. And how I selected her is just that I found her heroic and extraordinary just as who she was, and I was just quite deeply inspired by her.
Beyond her personal determination, talk about the medical resources, counseling, and care that she could turn to in a new era of more effective AIDS treatments, if not cures.
Well, as I mentioned before, PMTCT are these programs that have slowly been rolled out all through Africa, but which we hope will be rolled out further and reach more women. But it involves a combination of taking ARV medication,
antiretroviral.
Yeah, antiretroviral medication, as well as a lot of counseling. And then there are medicines, Nevarapin and Septrin, that are given to the mother. She enters labor and given to the baby after the baby's born. All of it works together to create this sort of holistic, preventative effort to reduce the chances of the baby being born with HIV from 50% to 2%.
How do those resources stack up against the number of those infected with AIDS, and especially other mothers?
I think what's incredibly sad is that even with the amazing help that PEPFAR provided, and even with the fact that we've reached more and more people over the years now, the rates of infections generally do outpace the rates of prevention across the board, not just in prevention of mother-to-child transmission. And so it's very, very scary. I mean, it's a plague, and more people are getting infected with this plague than are being put on medication to help them live their lives with this illness. PMDCT is very cheap, and it's generally effective, and the more and more people it reaches, the more and more chance you have to see a new HIV-free generation.
Of course, that leaves open the problem that the children will survive, the parents won't. Who will take care of the surviving children?
A lot of the focus of PMDCT, it's not just on the child, it's on the mom too. You know, it's making sure that the mother is receiving her ARVs, is healthy and strong and fit and there to take care of the child. Sadly, Zambia is one of many countries that has an enormous amount of AIDS orphans, and it's just a very scary thing. Should the parents die, the child or children may end up being looked after by much older grandparents that may have a lot of kids to look after and just may not be fit enough to care for a small child, or else they may end up in orphanages.
The star of your film, do I understand that her new daughter is also named Maggie? Is that more than a coincidence?
Yeah, it is more than a coincidence. I mean, when you go through the process of making a documentary, you become extremely close, and Maggie's mom and I became extremely close through the process of this. And it's also for them, I mean, it was such a huge event in their lives that this American film crew came and lived with them through her pregnancy, and I think that in a symbolic way that I was the name that connected Maggie's coming into the world. It's not uncommon that kids in this particular area in Zambia names are chosen based on some significant event that happened around the birth. So, but it's really flattering, and she's an adorable child. So.
Maggie Bett's new film about mothers, children, and AIDS in Africa is The Carrier. The Bush-era president's plan for AIDS relief, PEPFAR, is on the block in current deficit reduction politicking.
Quote from the news, not beneficial for Palestine and not beneficial for anybody. That was UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon after Palestine gained membership in UNESCO that will likely cost the agency 25% of its funding, which Washington, by law, may not continue to contribute because of the Palestinian presence.
Next, he loves and she loves and they love to sing. For your ears only.